All right, we are live. We are recording. I'll say good evening to everyone. Good evening. So it's 8:30. We promised that we're going to be on time. Anyone that joins late, we'll fill them in. Okay. So I'd like to say good evening, everyone. This is the Concerned Citizens Coalition of South Central Louisiana, West Central Louisiana, Vernon Parish, we reached the Bean Parish, Beauregard Parish, but try to be a community-based organization doing positive things in this area. And with that being said, I want to take my hat off to Miss Angela, who lives a couple of hours away from us, but participates with the group. Put out a fundraiser. I think we need to try to do this again. And I don't know, I kind of dropped the ball. I really didn't. It was kind of I won't say a last-minute thing, but it came up. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, she raised quite a bit of money for the group, and that's going to help defray some cost on some upcoming events. And I'm not going to disclose how much money that we did make, but it was a good amount for the short time that the campaign went on. And it was simply selling popcorn. And I've seen several of other organizations do this fundraiser. I have a friend, as a matter of fact, old guy that I was stationed with years ago. He was, I think he and his wife started a little popcorn business. Don't think it went as well as he thought it would. I did hit him up, but they did do some fundraisers and made a little money. But I think that the bigger thing that they were trying to do didn't go through. I'm going to save Hamp the introduction piece. I'm going to introduce myself. I am Everett. Unless you want them.
That's all right now.
Okay, Hamp. I'm going to let you do it.
No, man.
I can't blow my own horn, though. I'm going to let you go ahead, and do what you do.
All right. So we're going to introduce the song and present to others our podcast coordinator, the man who's behind the scenes and makes it happen every Wednesday night, the recording, and keeps us all online and up to date about what's going on. Our own brother, Everett Gardner. Everett Gardner, it's your show.
Such a chocolate, such a chocolate, such a chocolate. I hear you, Hamp. Thank you, brother. So, Hamp called me last night or yesterday afternoon, and I'm terrible about reading email. I mean, if I was just, I think if my job sent an email out today, sent it out yesterday, they said, y'all getting a pay increase. Oh, I saw that one. But they never said how much. But I signed it anyway. They sent it back again. I saw it. I signed it. But I was looking to only. Excuse me. The only reason I saw that email is because Angela had emailed me about something that we needed to do, a transaction with the popcorn fundraiser. But anyway, Hamp says, you know you got the topic tomorrow night. I said, I do now. Y'all excuse me. That's the time of the year I get choked up a lot, coughing it out. But he said, what's the topic going to be? I said, I don't know. I'll come up with something. So I just started browsing the internet and just saying there's certain things that would be appropriate to talk about on the podcast. So I have 3 topics tonight, and I'm sure that every one of us, one of you, will be able to elaborate on each one. One of them is going to be life in general, certain things, events. Number 2 is going to be a sports-related topic. And the third is going to be about people and their pets, animals, what have you. So number 1, and this is a personal experience that I had today. Don't take anything for granted. Things can happen in a split second. I was up early. A buddy of mine was coming to pick me up to play golf. He said, I'll be there at 8. But I knew he'd be there at 10 till. And he had already put my stuff in the truck, loaded up, ready to go. So I told him, I said, man, I got to go back inside and get my shades. I said, they're in the house somewhere. I don't really know where I left. But I came in my house, had flip-flops on, slides, whatever you call them. Later left. Later left toward the kitchen. Left foot slips. Left foot slips. I fall backwards, land on my right butt side, but my leg got caught in between the wall and the refrigerator in a very awkward position. So I'm saying if there had not been another person here with me, I don't know how long it would have took me to get off that floor. He reached a hand down. I said, I don't think you can pick me up. I said, let me get my leg out of this awkward position. I thought I had probably done something crazy to my knee. But I got up. Took me a minute to get up. And it was just a small limp, a little sore. I proceeded to go with my day and play golf. Really didn't bother me. I came home just, as the day goes on, it's going to get stiff. It's going to get sore. And I came home, elevated, iced it. I'm standing up now walking around, but it's a little bit stiff. I'm saying at this age, I can't afford to fall like that. It was right in front of my refrigerator. Like I said, I watch it all the time. If you get a piece of ice out of there, sometimes ice falls to the floor. You got to make sure you pick it up. Water, get there, you got to make sure you mop it up. Now, I was looking at it later this afternoon. I said, if I'd have been coming from the other direction in the kitchen, and it fell like I did, I'd have fell on some tile. Probably would have took my head back and hit one of them cabinets. And that could have been ugly. But I'm just saying at this age, we don't really need that. But I said it's just fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have someone here. So if it had been worse, they could have called 911 ambulance and got me care or whatever. But that's why I say never take anything for granted. Watch your step. And that in your house, you got to make sure you got, no obstacles, no, hidden things that can injure you, especially being an older person. And I know some of you that are on the net with us probably have to take more precautions than I do in your home. So if anyone would like to go ahead and just share any personal experience or any hack that might keep someone's humble abode a little bit safer, feel free to do so. That's the first third of the show tonight. That's going to be topic number 1. So I'd like to welcome everyone. Good evening. And I just thought I'd share that with you.
Well, I know for me, I've pretty much done the same thing that you've done. And I didn't fall on the right. I fell on the left, which is the one I had the hip replacement on. And when I tell you it's pain, because steel, alloy, it's not even steel, it's alloy. Titanium don't bend, nor does it give. That's painful. That is painful. And you try not to do things like that, but accidents do happen. Mine wasn't so much from the refrigerator. Mine was from coming in after it rained pretty good. As soon as you hit that tile floor, your feet was like, not today. So up in the air I went and down I go. But it was a very painful experience. And like you said, now, at these ages, you don't need to be falling like that. Because like I tell folks, I'm a big dude. That hurt. I said, that hurt.
225 pounds crashing down. It happened like, boom, boom, boom. It was split second. Flip, gone, couldn't catch nothing. But I kind of, the hip, I didn't really fall on my hip. I fell flat on my gluteus and kind of padded the fall a little bit. But it was a little slow. But like I said, I did make it through 18 holes of golf. I thought it was going to hinder my wing, but it didn't. And luckily, we were in carts all day. Like I said, once I got home, it's still swollen a little. Iced it down, elevated it, and after I did the ice, I just make sure I laid there in the bed and kept it covered. I wish I had some of that stuff the old folks used to have back in the day called liniment. It'll file the room before it'll loosen up some muscle. And I know we got some rubbing alcohol. I'm going to do that real good before I go to sleep. Take a hot shower. But,
that
liniment.
But that liniment won't only loosen your muscles. It'll loosen everything else in your body, too. It'll get you right. It'll get you right now.
Oh, yeah.
I've been able to find stuff like that at like not a farmer's market, but like a old-fashioned meat market. They'll have a little section over there with like Watkins liniment and the flavors and stuff that Watkins still puts out. Correction. I found that in Georgia. I don't know about out here. But you could try. It doesn't hurt to try.
You mentioned a product that a lot of younger people, like I said, we down south understand, but there was a man used to come around, the Watkins guy. He came around maybe, I kind of remember him coming to the house every Saturday. And he would, Mama would get whatever. If he was out, he going to make sure. And, good thing about it then, they wasn't paying the man on time. Oh, I ain't got it today, but I'll pay you a little bit more the next time you come around. But they always had something that if we were sick, they had different things to make sure that whatever ailed you didn't ail you for too long. And that's just preventive measures. And and the reason I'm speaking on this subject and the other two subjects that I chose to talk about tonight is I just looked at what makes a good podcast topic. The internet is full of information. So I said, well, we have shows on the network where people coach one another, teach them about finances and what we can do to be better as a melanated people. We have people that have interesting interviews that is also in the line. And then, book reviews, different things like that. So I just picked me 3 topics tonight. And the first one is just pretty much like I said, life hacks, life in general, or don't take things for granted in your own home and make sure that your home is safe. Mine is safe. I would not say we don't have anything in here that's going to wreak any havoc. That was just a freak accident with me not having everything that I needed before I walked out the door to start the day. And I got up, early, did what I do my little prayer, read a couple of scriptures, and even got out and was cool enough to do my little, I didn't walk as long as I wanted to, but I walked enough to get the blood flowing, so it's going to be a great day on the golf course. And it pretty much was. Like I said, a little minor injury. If I don't get much more motion before the morning, but I do have to go to chiropractor. I don't know if she does knees, but they do my back and neck. I'm sure they can put something on there or direct me somewhere where I can, feel a lot better. Anyone else feel like want to chime in and speak on any experience like that, or what you're doing, or what can you do to make sure your home is safe? And if you see something somebody else, then you don't call names, but go ahead.
Hi, good
evening. Good evening to you.
So, get better soon. I look at that life alert that they have on TV, and they usually have a lot of people with a lot of white hair. But I think that thing is so important to have. That's that little button or bracelet you can wear. So if you do have a slip and fall, you can just press it, and someone can come and help you. But my boot was going into the freezer, thinking the door had closed. Now I'm going into the refrigerator, and when I come up as the freezer door, and my head become very familiar. So, like, making sure that the freezer door is closed, and I do that now, right? Foodie one. Making sure that freezer door is closed, because when you come up not thinking anything is in your way, you're coming up. And boy, is it a shocker. It's that thing that makes you see stars from the back of your head to the front of your eyes. You got to be careful. And maybe taking off your shoes at the front door, you become more aware. And I know you were running in and out, but I do take my shoes off at the front door anyway. I don't walk in to the house with street shoes past the front door. So that could also help. And again, hopefully you'll feel better. And life is life. We can't take anything for granted. Everything makes a difference. Thank you.
All right, that's an interesting observation from Miss Evadnier. Everybody's doing well this evening. The weather here has changed. And Brother Hamp, you sounded like Brother Harris earlier, but I know that was you. I'm just wondering, is he on the line tonight?
I don't know.
Okay.
I tried to call him earlier.
You talk about the devil and he'll show up.
I always do.
So I just wondered before, when we were talking about different things in life, so I'm not you came up with an interesting topic last week. I'm just wondering if you're doing a follow-up on it, or was any result achieved from that, what you spoke about last week?
My soldier, they initiated a flag on him and his wife today about the whole the fact that they're still trying to say that they had it planned the whole time, so they're going to legal right now, and they're like, well, son, you've been there through the whole situation. What do you feel? And I told them exactly, what y'all said, and they was like, well, son, we just want this to be over with. We just want to be left alone. I said, well, one thing about the military, they're not going to leave you alone unless you take off this green suit. And they was like, well, they want her to move, and they want me to, say that I did it, so it won't be as harsh on her and me. And I was like, well, if they feel like that, then they don't have nothing. I said they just want y'all to incriminate yourselves so y'all can put yourself in a bind, and then they can use that to get both of y'all out. I said, y'all ain't been in 3 years. I said, if you stay in 3 years, they can't get you they can't just kick you out. They was like, what you mean? I said, all they got to do is hit you with one of the chapters and say you failed to adapt. You're gone less than 60 days. And they was like, well, son, they just won't leave us alone. I said, well, look, y'all married now. Y'all can, whatever they say, they got to talk to both of y'all. So they was like, well, son, they got to go to legal and they got to come back. I was like, well, hey, it's up to y'all to do what y'all need to do to make sure that y'all don't get them no more ammunition than they already have, which is nothing.
So for those of you who don't know, you might have heard Brother Harris mention the term flag. And in the military terms, that means if you have any type of favorable action coming, i.e. promotion or even getting ready to leave one station to go to another, they put stipulations on you. But I want you to ask them guys, they already answered too many questions, but you need to ask them because nothing can be done. It's just like in the civilian sector. If you're not read, your Miranda rights, all that, whatever, has been violated. But if they went on and talked anyway, they should know I'm remaining silent. And the leadership is obligated to on anybody before you question them, you have to read them, those rights. And you should, as a Sergeant E5, have that card in your back pocket. But like I say, the Army has changed over the years. We had to carry it with us. If you didn't memorize it, you had to found somebody doing something they wasn't supposed to. Couldn't question them without reading them their rights.
My soldier was. He sat there because I told him before, I was like, hey, you did good. You didn't say nothing. I said until they bring you in there with me in front of the commander and the first sergeant and the platoon sergeant and read you off what you being charged for, you ain't got to say nothing. He was like, well, fine, I'm glad that you know the regulation. I said, well, you know, thanks to a lot of the brothers that I know that was first sergeants and were officers in the military, they'll get you every time. And I want to just thank all y'all for y'all input, because I would have probably gave him some misguided information.
Well, it sounds like it's pretty much at the same where it was a week ago, but, I mean, as long as you did all you can do, that's really all you can do. All right, so I said I'm going to divide this into 3 segments, so the first 30 minutes are about up. Anyone got any comments, concerns on my first little topic I just did about don't take things for granted. Just make sure that you're living your life to the fullest and you're taking care of yourself, making sure your surroundings are safe so that you don't end up like I did this morning. Number 2 topic. I'm going to talk about people and their pets. And a lot of things that I talk to you about, something experience that I've had. I'm not a judgmental person, but I was at the store last week, and pet lovers, they ride around with their dogs in the front seat. Dog hanging out the window. I had no problem with that. That's your dog. But then I seen a guy. He had that dog hanging out the front window. And I just happened to look in his truck when he opened the door. There was 5, 6 more dogs in the front seat with him. I said, this dude got like 6 or 7 dogs in his house. I can imagine. I said, I shouldn't be judging anyone. But I said, just to look in that truck, see all them dogs, kind of made me think, what if I was to go over to his house? What am I going to see? You got that many dogs in the truck. Naturally, them same dogs is going to be running around in the living room, kitchen, and everywhere else. Like I say, not being judgmental. But I said, if I knew this guy and he invited me to dinner, I don't think I'd eat. Because somebody had something on the internet the other day. The kitchen look clean. You know, like Grandma said, 2 rooms need to stay really clean in your house. Kitchen and bathroom. You can tell a whole lot about a person by them 2 rooms or those 2 areas in your house look. So that was a picture on the internet. Kitchen looked immaculately clean. But there's a cat on top of the stove. And I'm saying, you got to be kidding me. And those are the first people that want you to come over to eat. Or they want to bring a potluck dish. And you don't know, I said, I can't eat everybody's stuff. So I don't know what you're doing in your, you might say the same thing about me. I'm not eating out your kitchen. I'm not eating your food, Another experience I had, and like I said, people have their pets. Gotta love them. Some people around here have service dogs. I have my mixed emotions about a service dog. I guess if you need it, it relaxes you that much. Godspeed. I don't really like animals. I don't hate them. But I can keep my distance from them. I had to play golf with a guy Saturday. And everywhere he goes, he takes his dog. It's a little dog, a very mannerable dog. But I got to sit next to this dog, 18-year-old dog. I can't say nothing because I don't want to ride with him. But I like the guy. He just and I got used to the dog. The dog didn't bother me. He just sit there. And he drooled on the seat a couple of times. I kind of got on my nerves. I wiped it up. But for the most part, the dog was good. But if I had my breakfast, I'm like, hey, I want to ride with the dog. And he's patting the whole time. Hot. But I said, it's just me, the dog. Tournament director didn't say anything, so why should I? So that was my second topic. Pets in the home and your take on how you feel. And some of you probably have pets. And I don't mean to offend anybody if I say something crazy. All right, floor is open.
It's Yvonne again. So I have a great-grand Chihuahua and 2 great-grand Calico cats. And I adore them. They do not live with me, but I visit with them on a regular basis. And when I come through the door, they are so happy to see me. And it's so funny because my last visit, I had just met the great-grand cat. But every time I would go out and come back in, they were so happy to see me. And the last time I visited, the great-grand Chihuahua had the nerve to try to send me to bed. And I looked at him because I was working at the dining room table. And he came, right here. So I said, outside? Because when you say outside and he wants to go out, you start flying all around. So he was like, just shook his head. Right? So I said, what? I said, you want me to go to bed? And then he started flying around. I said, oh, no, we won't be doing it. Like, you want to put me to bed? And it was only like 2 o'clock in the morning. But he was waiting for me to go to bed so he could come up to the room. They're lovely. Absolutely lovely.
You know, I don't dislike animals. I just don't like animals in the house. I've had dogs before, but they outside dogs. Because I'm one of those, I just feel like people live in the house, not outdoors. Dogs live outdoors, not in the house. And that's just me and my small mind of how I think. Because that's one of my big pet peeves. I cannot stand a dog roaming through the house freely every day, all day, or waiting on me to take him outside. If he's outside, he's not really going to do his business. I ain't got to worry about it. But if he's inside, I got to take time out, or if I'm not at home, I stand a chance, or whatever he do in the house is in the house. So I'm just one of those, I just feel like dogs belong outside, cats belong outside, and any other animal that you might want to put inside, they belong outside. And if they're not outdoors, they're at least in the garage. They're not in the living quarters of the house. That's just me and my spiel.
Well, Ms. Ivaniak said she had about the Chihuahua, the little dog. I had to share the golf course with him and his owner, was Chihuahua. I owned a Chihuahua at one time to my first wife. That was the baddest little dog that I've ever seen in my life. And I would have to tell people, hey, before you come over to the house, wasn't there cell phones back then? Before you come to the house, call me. If I can go get the dog, hold him back. Yeah, just enough chain. If you came up right by the front door, you're going to get it. And I tell people, I ain't worried about this dog. I said, okay, I warned you. couple of brave ones walked up there like, without calling, just trying to come knock on the door. Got nipped. Like I said, I had to come out there and get him. Come get the dog. Oh, no. No, you wasn't worried about the dog. Now you see. That lets you know. And I really don't like cats at all. I was at a house in Germany, not in Germany, overseas. We were at a little gathering. And like I say, I don't want to really eat because the cat roaming all over the place. Just being sociable. But the cat jumped up in my lap. And the guy goes, I'm going to get the cat. You don't like cats? I'm like, man, look, I'm not going to harm your animal. I really hate cats. I said, a cat around me is like a pit bull around Michael Vick. I need to hurry it up and put the cat away. Anybody not, familiar with the Michael Vick story, he was fighting on bulldogs. People really, he did some time because it was like a cruelty to animal thing. I'm like Hamp. I think if I have had a dog before, but he got killed when we were all younger. He was an outside dog, minus the time that he was a baby. We kept him in a little box. But as he grew up, he stayed outside till the day he got out of the yard and, made his maker. But, yeah, I'm just about, a lot of people love the dog. I see him kissing the dog, I say, I don't know. That's just one of those things. Some people have a different take about dogs, cats, animals in general.
Well, this is Dr. James. I got a dog, but it ain't my dog.
I'm missing you, man.
I was doing something last couple weeks. I was listening. I'm listening to y'all. But my son brought a dog in here, and I told him I didn't want no dogs. For the simple fact, this is before I lost my eyesight. The simple fact is, I don't like to run around cleaning up doo-doo and pee and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just don't like that. So he went and brought the dog anyway. For the little small dog, a pug. But then he don't want to take care of him. He want everybody else to take care of his dog. But it's too late now. We got the dog in the house, but I would have never brought him in here. So once you get the dog, now the dog feel like, everybody's like he's part of the family now. So you can't get rid of him. I mean, you can, but, everybody get mad. So I'm stuck with the dog now. I told my son most of the times I'm going to call the ASPCA to come get him. But I never do, But, sometimes animals are good. Like out here we got a fox. We got a fox that he goes in everybody's backyard. But the foxes are kind of good because they chase away the possums. They chase away the rabbits. They chase the rats. They chase the mice. They chase the small animals, And they'll kill them, too.
If you got chickens, they'll eat.
Well, I ain't got no chickens. But I just like them chasing them rabbits. The rabbits is a pain because I got fences. The rabbits crawl underneath the fence, They'll dig right underneath that fence and come in your backyard. But the foxes, since we have that fox around here, I ain't seen I don't see, but I ain't heard nothing about no rabbits or nothing. No more because the fox will eat them.
You must live in the rural part of Newark. You're in Newark, right?
No, I don't live in Newark. I live in New Jersey, but I live about an hour from Newark. I live in Monmouth County. It's like central South Jersey. What?
And you live in the country?
Well, it's the suburbs,
Okay.
But they got I live near farms and they got farms and stuff out here, But it's not like country, but they do have some rural areas in this county.
Right.
I grew up having animals all my life, outdoors and inside. So, they both got pros and cons. I'm not a big cat person. We had dogs, we had fish, we had, rabbits, turtles, cockatiels, parrots. It's like a zoo after a while, but some animals can be beneficial indoors. If I had my choice, I prefer to have them outside, just for the fact that they can patrol the yard and provide a sense of security, better than they can indoors and whatnot. And like I said, the pick up and the keep up is less on the owner. They're out there in nature; they can do their thing. Depending on where you live in anyway, they ain't gonna let you have certain species.
I mean, living here, my wife was from Chicago, and I won't say we live in a neighborhood, but the area used to be nothing but woods. I was told by some of the neighbors, pretty wooded area, because to the left of us, before they built a dog park, that was nothing but woods. And I guess people that lived here in the Leesville area before can attest to that. But 7 or 8 years ago, every morning I go outside on my back porch and I see where my backyard had been dug up. I finally caught the culprit, so I didn't have anything to shoot him with at the time. An armadillo. They marched down the street all to each neighbor's yard at a certain time of the morning. You'd go out there and you'd see them. It's like a posse of them. I've seen stuff that I never seen at home, really. Armadillos, you can see them in Texas. Possum, I never seen a possum until I came down here. Raccoon, I was at McDonald's. Now, you'd think a raccoon would be in the woods, but the wife and I was going through the drive-thru. This, like I said, 7 or 8 years ago. It was 2 raccoons. They was taller than the 4 or 5 year old kids digging in the trash can. And she says, I know I'm in the country now. And being from Chicago, she had never seen nothing like that before. But, and now we're being invaded by crickets. Certain areas I go to, crickets are everywhere. I don't know what's drawing them. I know we had a recent rash of wildfires down here, and there's been a drought, not a whole lot of rain, but I go to a couple of places, and the crickets have taken over. But they haven't come over they're not in everybody's houses around here, and that's kind of weird. But I went to one place, crickets everywhere. I've never seen anything like that in my life. But that's not a pet. That's just a pet. But I guess he has a purpose in life.
What do they look like, crickets, like when they've landed and they're still? What do they look like?
Like a grasshopper, a black grasshopper.
Yeah, it looks like
pretty much. It's real close to a grasshopper, but it's black. They're probably in the grasshopper family.
I've seen them too, but I've seen these other little bugs all of a sudden that when they landed, they're not little, unfortunately. They're bigger than a bee, and when their wings are closed, up the middle of their back is red and white dots, like red and white polka dots. Anybody know what that is?
Where is this, in Georgia? Are they small, small bugs?
They're bigger than a bee.
Bigger than a bee.
Smaller than a fly. Mm-hmm. They have black wings, but even when they're down, right up the middle of their black, red and white polka dots.
Wow, that's different. I have to kind of Google that one and see what it might come up. That's kind of crazy. But when I look at
Go ahead.
So I'm saying, I'm gonna get it's probably going to sound biblical on y'all right now, but I mean, when I went to a spot the other night and I saw all these locals, and I went to the corner store and the girl was outside fighting locusts. I mean, not locusts, but crickets. And I was thinking, well, I'm glad I don't have to be at my porch, because I went to a little spot last night, and one of them, I guess, when I opened the door, they came on in. Crickets was inside. And that's like, you think about the plague that happened back when the Egyptians, the Israelis was being held captive in Egypt, and the Lord put a plague out with them locusts. And every now and then, like my mama used to say, the Bible coming to pass. And certain things make you think. But like I said, I take a little stock in it. If it happens, it happens. But I don't want it to be like it was back in the day. We are fortunate that we're not getting that kind of wrath. And hope we don't ever have to see it. So.
Got a point. And Israel is at war right now as well. So it's something to make.
I watched a good point. I watched I think it was 60 Minutes, and there's a group of Israelis fighting against they got a radical group that's pretty much in opposition with the mainstream government. And they were pretty determined in their beliefs about going against the guys who are in charge right now. And it all comes down to these people that are forming their own little army or group. I forgot what they called it. Brothers in Arms, that's what it was. But they had a lady there. And she's married to another woman. She's a doctor, married to a doctor. They got a daughter. And so it's basically liberal against conservative. And it's almost like the divisiveness that's kind of going on here, left against right. But I'm not going to mention too much of that. But you did say that because Israel, but I'm not going to get off the subject. But that's what we do on the CCC podcast. This is the Potpourri Show. We can talk about anything. But we start out with a topic if we get off of it. As long as everything is informative and educational and we're not arguing, it's all good. But back to the pets, because we're about 10 minutes away from me switching to topic number 3 for the evening. But if no one has anything to say, I'm going to give you opportunity, and I'm going to push right along. And then we'll talk about that for a few minutes, and then the last 15 minutes we'll just open the floor for general speaking, something you want to share, something that you want to share with the group that might help us along. Somebody got a recipe they want to share. This is what we do. I say we get a lot of education from some of the other shows that are very informative. Let this be your Wednesday night where you can kick back, relax, and talk about anything you want to talk about within reason, without offending someone. But if it gets to that point, we can always smooth it out. But Dr. J, James, I want to welcome you back. I know it's been 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't heard your voice, and you always have something interesting to say. If Deborah is on the line tonight, they've been pretty quiet. Well, I know they're busy doing other things. This is a busy time of the year. And we got some upcoming things as well. So my next topic, anybody else want to speak about their pets, their animals? Go ahead. Am I on mute? No, okay. So I guess that's...
I want to say something real quick, Dr. James, just real quick. Now, you say you was talking about anything, right? Or you ain't doing that yet?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Kill some time.
I want to ask you, did y'all hear about that thing in New York with the people cutting that fentanyl in the nursery school, in the daycare with them little babies?
I did not.
It didn't come out down there?
Yes,
I'm sure it did. But I mean, I miss the news a lot, you know, in early morning because I'm up and gone. If I don't check my phone.
Well, they had these guys. They was mixing the fentanyl, you know, the poison fentanyl that they mixed with the drug.
I did see that last night.
Yeah, in the nursery school.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they put it on top of the mat where the babies play.
Right.
And a bunch of the kids ate it or absorbed it, or whatever, and they went to sleep. They couldn't wake them up. And
right.
One of them died. Two of them in the hospital.
Yes, I did see that on the. I think it was on the news.
Some people had to be crazy.
This morning
they had to be crazy, right? That's what I'm saying. Don't you think they had to be crazy? Why? I mean, it's bad enough you gonna mix the drugs, and what you gonna do it in the nursery school for? You know, what's wrong with them?
Well, you gotta look at it. I mean, yeah, they're crazy, but I mean, I don't know what people think sometimes, but they have a commercial that runs on all the stations about fentanyl. It's about 3 different clips. And one side said somebody knows it is harmful. They said, first of all, for a person that's into drug dealing that heavy, they have no conscience. It's all about money. And I was talking to a young lady yesterday, and she was saying, you know, with the borders being open the way they are now, that stuff is coming in abundance. And it is probably the most lethal drug in the United States right now. And it's terrible down here where we are. Terrible, I'm telling you.
It's poison.
User is
they
crazy.
Said 2 milligrams can kill a human.
Smaller than that, I'm sure. And when I saw him walk those 2 people out, and they were the school, you know, people that was in charge of the school. And the mayor of New York City came on and said to me, yeah, but that was pretty sad, pretty crazy that people would do something to that magnitude, especially when it involved in, you know, kindergarten babies, kids. Yeah, it's terrible.
His nurses could have kid. The one that died was 1 year old. Wasn't even kindergarten.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that that's why people are leery about sending their kids to different places, to strangers that they don't really know, because who would have thought at a nursery school or whatever it is, daycare center, that the main people running a fentanyl lab, and then they spreading it all up there on the. That just don't make any sense at all.
They put on the play mats where the kids play. They spilled it or had it all over. They found a kilo right on top of the play mats where the kids was playing and where they sleep at. The kilo was right there. Now, do you think those people need to go to jail for 50 years, right?
Oh, I would say sometimes you got a drug dealer, he goes to jail for 5 or 10, depending on how much he had in his possession or what. But something like that, I would, a lot of people say, they don't deserve life. They deserve life. They deserve a lot of years in the penitentiary.
In China, they would execute them.
I'm a believer in capital punishment for certain things. I get a lot of opposition if I say that, but that's just the way I feel. I say, you shoot somebody, you should be just shot right back. But that's not the way it works.
Well, if you can prove that they did it, but that's the problem in this country. You got to be able to prove it.
Got to go through process of law and be tried in the legal, court of law. So It's crazy. Some people do things they don't really know what they're doing, but you go out and mass murder 5 or 6 people, the whole family in a night. You know what you was doing. You can plead insanity all you want, but you don't know the impact.
That fentanyl is something else, and that stuff coming out of China. It's coming out of China.
Right? You're in a small town down here, and that drug right there, and methamphetamine is. You wouldn't think it in a small town that we're in, but it is crazy. Like I said, I don't have any facts, any numbers, but I can see it and I hear people talk. It's crazy. Well, I appreciate you there, Dr. J. You took up a little time.
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself on mute.
That's a current event. That was a current event. When you said it, I didn't catch it until you said the fentanyl. That was one of the first things I woke up to this morning on the ABC news. Okay, we talked about, like I said, the first one was life and home stuff. Second topic was pets. And my third topic is going to be about sports. And the hottest topic in sports seems to be right now. And everybody has their opinion on the Colorado football team and Deion Primetime Sanders as the head coach. Now, there's a guy on Fox. His name is Jason Whitlock. I forget the name of the show that he's on. I don't really look at it, but I read in the internet. But anytime I see somebody, they're either for Deion or they're against him. There's not really too many in the middle. And this guy, he's at odds with a lot of people. He's one of, I would say, a conservative black sportscaster. He was saying, Deion with the chains, Deion calling himself prime at 56-year-old. He's immature, and he's, playing that like he think he's faking it when it comes to that Deion being a saved religious guy. So you can't judge if nobody else is saved or not. That's not for you to say. And if he wants to wear chains, dark glasses, and a hat, the things that he is doing to motivate young men to be better, I take my hat off to him. Now, coaches haven't worn suits and ties on the sideline in a long time. I only know one that does right now. He's a high school coach in Dallas. He wears the coat, the tie, and the hat like Tom Landry from the Dallas Cowboys used to wear. Now, most coaches, when they do their walk to the stadium with their team, they wear a coat and tie. That's college. But then when they get in the locker room, they change or whatever. Deion is the exception to the rule. He dances to his own drum. And a lot of people are upset. How many of y'all know who Dr. Umar Johnson is?
I'm familiar with him.
Okay. I've seen him on, he was upset. I mean, he was argumentative with the people on the Breakfast Club about Deion Sanders. And we talked about this before, but the topic is still there. About Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State or the school that he's at now. He feels like he left, he failed the movement. I said, that's not a movement when a man can did what he did, bought that school to where it is today, went out of his own pocket and financed that athletic program. And then someone else, you want to move up. If you want to stay stagnant and stay, but he could have did wonders for HBCUs, but I don't think he would have ever got the talent at the HBCU because they don't have the money that the other schools have to compete against the top college football programs. It would have been interesting to see if he could have done that. Take a predominantly black school, historically black college, and had to compete with the big boys. It would have been a tall task. A lot of people saying he ran for the money. But he's helping kids get, a lot of people would frown on. I watched his kid the other day, his son. Now, these guys grew up rich. But he said he didn't spoon feed them anything. He made them earn everything that they got. And a lot of people are frown on. You see a young 21-year-old kid, he flashing a Rolex and driving a Maybach, a Mercedes that's probably $140,000, $150,000, if not more. I say go get it. And hopefully you can help somebody else go get it as well. But that's where we are today. I mean, the college game has changed so much, but Deion is making it an impact. And I'm going to get off the soapbox and let somebody else talk. If they're knowledgeable or not, just go ahead. And I know it's in the news every day. I mean, I went to see a guy the other day. I did a ball game last week. And guy says, I'm going to mail you a check. I said, no, don't mail it. I'll come get it. And then, waste a stamp. I can ride out there and pick it up. He's one of those who is not a Deion Sanders fan. He said he's done a great job, but a lot of people want to see him fail. And if he wins this game this week, which they're not supposed to win because the team is a lot better than they are, we'll see Saturday. But if he is competitive, because you're not going to win them all. But a lot of people are wanting to see this man fail just because of his style. And I like style. Anybody else? Excuse me.
Listen, Deion Sanders is bad. Deion Sanders, remember he played baseball too?
He did.
You remember he played baseball also, right? He played for the Braves.
I know, made a touchdown and a home run in the same.
Yeah, he played for the Braves. I think he played for Cincinnati. Somebody told me he played for the Yankees, but I know he played for the Braves.
He played for the Braves, the Yankees, and Cincinnati. You hit them all.
Yeah. That guy was bad. And in the football, he played offense and defense. He catch a pass, too.
Yeah,
the guy did it all. So you can't take that credit away from him. They got it crazy. They talking about,
he held it down.
He's a good coach, too.
He held it down on that end. Bo Jackson actually did it first. Then Deion came behind him with the dual sports. But he was still killing it in both of them. I can never take that from him.
Yeah, Bo was first. And if Bo hadn't got a bad hip injury, he'd have done wonders, I think, in both sports. But I think at the pro level, you got to pick and choose. But Deion has a guy on his team right now that got knocked out of the game Saturday night. This kid has played every snap in every of the first three games that he took a cheap shot Saturday night, and he got maybe some cracked ribs and something. He's going to be out for about 3 weeks. And this was one of the main guys on the team, but yet they still persevered and came back and won that game Saturday night. I gave up on them. I went to bed. Woke up the next morning. I said, man, the guys lost. It's like, nope, they came back and won in 2 overtime. But I had to get up early. I had to go ahead and get a little sleep. I wasn't going to stay up until 2 o'clock watching the ball game. I wish I had her, but glad I didn't. But that was my sports topic because, you got the NIL, man. You got kids getting big dollars.
Well, that's part of the situation with his son because Shador has endorsements. And now players in college can have endorsements and get paid.
Yep.
That
You know
was
what?
a time.
Yeah.
That was a time you couldn't do that. But now, the sale of a Colorado jersey with his number on it, he gets so much of that. Just like with Dion, the sale of any Colorado gear that says Prime, he gets so much of that. And that was the time.
Friend.
None of that would happen. No, go ahead. I'm done.
Now, I was going to tell you, my best friend's son, he played for Villanova basketball. He just finished this year. He played on the Final Four team. 2 years ago, they went to the Final Four, and he was starting. His name is Slater. Last year at Villanova, they paid him $250,000. But they just started paying the players. So they paid him $250,000 to play for Villanova. And then he just signed with the Celtics. I was going to tell you that, yeah. He just signed as a free agent with the Celtics. But we hoping that he could stay there with them, you know. I think he didn't get drafted, but he signed it with they call it a two-way contract where you go with the G League and you go to the regular Celtics, you know. So I think they get decent. So we hoping that he can make the team and, you know, play with them, you know. So he signed, well, he's with the team, but we hoping that he can play, you know, with the regular Celtics, you know. He's up there with them now. You know, he's working out with them and all that. So we hoping and praying for that. His name is last name is Slater. Brandon Slater. Yeah. I don't know if anybody watched basketball.
Well, I've heard of that.
You watched Villanova. Yeah, he started for the last couple of years.
Yeah, they had a good team a couple of years, and they won that title.
They went to the Final Four 2 years ago. He was starting on that team.
Guess what? They won it this past year, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they not. The year before last, they went to the Final Four. In the last, say, 7 years, they won it 2 times, the whole thing.
Yeah, they've been in there.
Yeah.
They're forced to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Yeah, so he got a contract with the Celtics, so we're going to see what happens. We hoping and praying that he can stick with the team and everything, you know?
Yeah. Now, like I said, you know, we were talking about the name, image, and likeness. Like I said, years ago, I went to college. You couldn't get any money. They gave you $15 for laundry every month, which you couldn't even do laundry for $15. But that was a lot of under-the-table money being given. You know, some guys got more than others. And it's the same thing with this deal here. You're going to, like we mentioned, Shedeur Sanders. I just read last week where he signed his endorsements right now up to like $4.1 million. If he invests that money wisely and don't have a great NFL career, I mean, with his name alone, he was never going to be broke. Unless Dion is like Shaq, when Shaq kids say, "We rich." Shaq says, "No, we not rich. I'm rich." But, you know, Sanders say he makes his kids earn everything, but they're never going to want for anything. But to see that they can make money, because if you got a jersey with your name on it, and everybody going out buying, they go straight to the school. That's just saying the school is using you as an athlete, whether you're black or white. You're there for 4 years to make revenue for that school. Yeah, you should get paid. I was against it for a minute because I'm saying you're going to school to get an education. You're an amateur. And once you get paid, you're not an amateur anymore. So not everyone playing college football is going to make it to the NFL. Not everyone playing college basketball is going to make it to the NBA. But they have leagues and stuff, you know, below that you can at least play a little bit of professional football, get paid. But if you want them $1 million babies in college, you're probably going to be $1 million baby in the NBA or NFL. So I'm with you. We're a capitalist society for the most part. And I don't have a problem with anybody making money, because everybody's not gonna have the same amount of money.
Hey, them schools is making billions of dollars. The schools making billions.
Yeah, they're making
with
a lot of money.
TV contracts and everything.
Billion, but they're making a lot of money.
Well, no, if you look at the conferences, like the Big Ten, SEC, they sign in TV contracts, and they probably in the billion. They probably get at least $1 billion for the conference, and then they divide it up with all the teams, you know. But they making big money. And the bowl games, football, they might make 60, 70 million for one game in the bowls. If they go to a big bowl, you know. So they making money, and they wasn't giving them kids zero. It was giving them nothing.
Well, the thing
that's almost like slavery.
Colorado did something that no other school in the NCAA has done, and that's had game day focused on them 3 weeks in a row. Because when they played TSU, the game day was about them. When they played Nebraska, game day was about them. That was their home opener. That was the second game. And when they played this past game, that was their home opener. So they have been featured for the last 3 weeks.
Fox twice and ESPN once. ESPN is the big one. And they're going to be on TV, national TV again on Fox this coming Saturday, afternoon game.
Yeah.
I don't know it. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, bringing somebody there for a university didn't know how they were going to pay him, but they signed the contract anyway. It seems as though everything worked out the way they needed it to. Because their little AD is probably one of the best ADs in collegiate sports right now. Because he took that chance.
And the owner, the
bringing him there.
The president of the college said how much of a risk he took. He bought in, and he was all with it, because they couldn't go no way other direction but up, because they were terrible last year. Been terrible for years. And then the celebrities that show up at the games, man, it's unreal. It's almost like a circus.
And now, and that's what a lot of coaches are upset about, because it's when you play Colorado now, it's like this celebrity fanfare, because so many celebrities show up to the game. You now have a star-studded Hall of Fame coaching staff. I mean, how many other universities have 2 Hall of Fame coaches on their staff? So, you know, it's a lot of animosity. Whole lot of animosity.
They got the third one that flies in every now and again, too. Don't forget about old boy.
Yeah, Sap.
And I tell you this, don't forget that Deion's son, the quarterback, if he don't get hurt and he stay healthy, God's willing, he going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He going to sign Deion, and they may not have to worry about no money. He going to sign a $300-400 million contract. So that
He's
guy
getting
can play.
trained by the best.
He can play. His son.
Yeah, he's getting trained by the best quarterbacks.
Yeah, he talked to Brady all the time.
He talked to Brady.
Brady is one of his mentors.
Yeah. So when he get out, everybody going to want him. As long as he don't get hurt, all the teams going to want him. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I wish the Jets could get him. Because the Jets, I'm a Jets fan. The Jets, that Don what's-his-name got hurt and done messed up all the hope now. You know? We had a little hope with the Jets. We had a chance. So that guy got hurt, you know? And he didn't even play 1 quarter. Yeah, he didn't even play 1 quarter. He got hurt.
Oh, he played 3 downs.
Yeah. And everybody in New York was thinking we had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Well, now we got this other guy. He keeps throwing interceptions. We got this other guy, Wilson. He didn't do nothing but throw interceptions. Yeah.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was my fantasy quarterback, and then, like I said, 3 plays into the game, I had to trade him. But I didn't get any points that night, but I put a new quarterback in. I had a good backup ready. But I think on the other 2 subjects, the ladies chimed in. We got on the sports, and I don't want to make y'all feel alienated, ladies, so we're going to cut the sports topic off. We got about 15 minutes left, and we're just going to open the floor up and just talk about. We got 12 minutes left, so go ahead and I'm going to let the ladies come chime in. I gotta give them their props. Sorry we got off on that sports tangent, but I know a lot of ladies get off in the football too.
I just couldn't get a word in. Trust me.
Okay, fellas, mute your phones. The ladies gonna get their word in. Go ahead.
Well, for me, when it comes to the Deion situation, I'm a SWAC person. So I heard what was going on in Jackson State, and to now go to Colorado, he didn't throw HBCUs away. He's still advocating for HBCUs and HBCU athletics. So he didn't turn around and just turn coat, but a lot of people don't want to look at it that way. But he is bringing in all of these star-studded people to help motivate. Michael Irvin comes in to motivate. Shannon Sharp has come in to motivate. They just signed Warren Sapp officially to be on the coaching staff starting next season. Like, he's bringing these guys in that can bring these boys to the next level. And then on his 60 Minutes special that he had the other night, they were asking him, you went in and you told all the guys that if you might as well go into the transfer portal. And so many guys transferred out. And he was asked if he was, did he feel that was right? And he said, yeah, because any guy that felt intimidated by that, then he needed to go. But if he was determined to say, no, you're not putting me out, I'm going to stay, then that's the ones I want on my team. And 3 boys did. And so he's taking college football to another level. And eventually he will lose a game. And the minute he loses a game, the haters will be louder than any of his praises. But the NIL thing has changed the game, not just for the men, but for the women as well. Angel Reese, the LSU football basketball player, this girl says she'll make more money in NIL deals than if she went to the WNBA. So the NIL deals are a level playing field for the men and the women to give both of them an opportunity for their name, image, and likeness to be out there and to be paid for their hard work that they do. I'm all for NIL and helping all sports, not just the football and basketball, because they do it in other sports as well. The only thing is some boosters kind of like slip it in there as an NIL deal where they're actually paying the players. There are some schools that do that, some smaller schools that don't have as much coverage, but at least the kids are getting something, as opposed to working 4 years, sometimes 5, possibly getting hurt, never making it to the next level, and never get paid a dime. So as an avid football fan and basketball fan, I'm all for both of those. And Dr. James, I will definitely be looking for your best friend's son. The Celtics is one of the teams that I watch. So I'll be rooting for him when I see his name. That's my soapbox.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Angela, like you're a knowledgeable person, and most of our ladies down here in the South, football. I got a little place I hang out around the corner to one of the American Legions, and any Saturday you're gonna go around there, and if LSU is playing, the ball game is gonna be on. If the Saints are playing, those people are glued to the TV. And I always go in there and start a little ruckus, because I have my Dallas Cowboy gear on. And I wear it in Walmart. I wear it everywhere I go. And I get flack. But, it's all in good fun. And we see how it all plays out. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is I covered the 3 topics that I kind of wanted to cover. And appreciate everyone's feedback. And now the floor is open to anyone to speak and go ahead and talk. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, so I just wanted to piggyback on the Deion Sanders situation again, and I just look at the rules and regulations. So if the rules don't say you have to wear a suit and a tie when you bring your team out, come as you are. Be independent. But I love what he's doing. I don't follow for it, but I did watch some of the interviews, and he is lifting people up. You can start somewhere and go somewhere else, but it doesn't mean that you're forgotten or that you have forgotten where you were. You lay it like a business. A lot of people start business, build it, and then sell it. He didn't sell it, but he sold the dream, and the dream is continuing. So that's really most important, and that's his style. If he did anything differently, sure, he knows how to dress differently, but that's him. That's his comfort, and that's his branding, as a matter of fact. That's his branding. So even in the Aflac commercial, he's all jewelry down, and I love it with the cheerleaders and everything. I love him in the Aflac commercial. But
and he has a sports coat on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I want to mention the event that we're having, the Organization of Unity and Empowerment, that grew out of the Thursday night podcast with Bill Gray. So we're having an event on Saturday, September 30th. It's called A Taste of Life, Building a Better Future. It's going to be held in Newark, New Jersey, and it's a community outreach event, bringing in resources from other organizations and sharing it with the community, giving away school supplies. We did the popcorn fundraiser as well, but it didn't turn out extremely well yet, even though the popcorn is good and people love it. Who eat it, it didn't boost a whole lot, but it'll grow because we're still a growing organization. But what we're doing is I'm going to do a book signing, and I want to give away the books. We didn't mention at all that we were going to be selling the books. I wanted to give away the books. So I'm asking if anyone would like to make a contribution to the books. You can do that on the website under sponsor, and the website is organizationofunityandempowerment.org, organizationofunityandempowerment.org, and you can purchase the book. For every book that's purchased, the organization will receive $5, but again, we're not selling them. And we're our 501c3 process is in works. Hopefully, it's all done by December. And I think you have a year, but, the 501c3 status isn't officially in place yet. However, if you want to donate them to your organization, and then your organization donates them to our organization, then you can still get the tax write-off because you've donated them to your organization, who then donates to ours. But you can give me a call, 347-457-2769, and I thank you for this time.
And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Wagner and, I'm having a brain freeze. They are he's one of the pioneers of the network. And did I say it? Yeah, Bill Graves and Mr. Wagner, two of the guys that are instrumental in this network getting started, I think. And they have some interesting shows tomorrow night, so be sure to tune in and listen up. And Vodney, she has several interesting podcasts on this network, and always something very informative. So, and I know I probably failed y'all in sending you those text messages that I get. But I think everybody got the website. I to go on the YouTube and find the Grown Folk Talk, and there's a wealth of information on there as well. So with that being said, it's 57 minutes past the hour, as Tom Joyner would say. I always say, what hour is it, Tom? But you got to say that because when you're broadcasting to the masses, you on different time zones at different time because you're a syndicated tape network show. But we have 3 minutes left. If anyone has any interesting thoughts or thing they want to bring to the table before we close, feel free to do so. I know I got off last weekend. I had to console a buddy. And that's one of the things I say, can't take life for granted. He buried his 20-year-old grandson yesterday. And that was the first time I talked to him last week in a while, but we've been friends since we were toddlers. And it's just unfortunate that he had to go through that. And I decided I want to take a break from the show and talk to him because it I think it meant a lot to him. So, but I'm here tonight. Found out I had the show last night. I'm not like to say blow my own horn, but I think we had a pretty decent night tonight. It's always interesting. And who brings the topic next week, Angela? They're going to have a week's heads up.
The topic next week will be Hamp.
Hamp, all right, good deal.
Oh, now it's the show topic.
Yeah. That's the entertainment himself.
Help the people champ.
Hey, in the flesh.
Help the people champ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I say, once again, we appreciate you. Go ahead, brother.
Our topic is going to be Hickory Dickory Dock.
A nursery rhyme. I'm sure that'll be interesting. I'm gonna personally let what's the lady's name? Deborah and man, I'm bad with names.
Deborah.
But anyway, and the other lady, they all Adrian. Yeah. I'm gonna try to find them person and let them know what you talking about. But anyway, enjoyed y'all tonight. Appreciate everyone for listening, and continue to support this great network. There's over like 19 different shows Monday through Sunday, and I'm gonna let you know if you haven't listened to Coach T and Alex Watley Bay, you will be educated, enlightened, and make you think about some things that's going on in this country that we live in. So they come on Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. I think it's 5-hour time. But just tune in. Just dial this number. Any time of day, you're going to get a show. I don't listen to a lot because I'm out and about. But sometimes I call in, they don't even know I'm on there, but I listen. So I'm encouraging our members to do that because we expect support. We should be supporting others as well. With that being said, it's 10 o'clock. It used to be at 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? None of us, I don't have any children anymore that they can do what they want to do because they're grown. But I want to say good night. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week and continue to support this great network of grown folks talking. Have a good evening, ladies.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.